Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our presentation on facilities and technology needs for Roxbury School District. Today, we will be going over some projects, some opportunities for the school. We'll look at our budget a little bit, and we'll take a peek at how we can best use the money we have coming in, and some different opportunities to get some money coming in order to meet the needs for our students and pair them with our educational goals. So, over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've done a couple of audits. One being for facilities, the other one being for technology. All right, and they help us break down some goals into short and long-term adventures and projects that we have for the school district. Right, something as simple as painting the walls, as opposed to producing what we see here as an outdoor classroom. And they should all be connected to the educational goals of the district. Right, they should all sort of come down from the top and bleed into the different schools. And they should all be connected some way, somehow, to various parties and different educational stakeholders. So first things first, right? A facility needs audit. So we did this a couple of weeks ago, and one area where we can kind of identify a quick and or at least accessible need is through our home economics program at the high school. And it is in order to get kind of new gas lines, electric lines. This is a class that a lot of students take. There's multiple levels of it, and to have the best appliances with kind of the most direct routes and lines, the safest environment for students. These are some key elements, and this kind of pairs a little bit. We're looking also to get new generators for the district. So if we're going to be dealing with electrical and connections and all that, this would be a good time to kind of make sure those are wired in properly. Refrigerators for students. Additionally, the home economics class. One of the classes offered is for students with special needs, and to show kind of how to live on your own in the over 21 program or over 18 program, and to make sure that these systems are up to date. If students have any medical needs for like refrigeration, for diabetes, anything like that, this is a good kind of opportunity to make sure we're all up to snub there. Another thing, right? Another needs we kind of looked at was entry ramps for handicapped students. We have one currently. The goal would be to get the other main entrance of the high school up to snub. And another large project that we've kind of had going for a while is a new turf field. It would be located on school grounds, but obviously open to the community. And we have a lot of land at the high school that we can kind of play into, and to kind of get involved in multiple sports. We're going to talk about that a little later with in regards to grants. But kind of getting that community stakeholder approach. We'll talk about how we can get funds for that in just a second, and who's responsible for that. What is needed, right? Can these projects help both the town and the school district? Are they connected to educational goals? We'll be looking at some timelines. Money, right? How much it's going to cost? Are there any unforeseen funds that we can take a look at? And then doing these audits, doing these presentations, the people involved, they can identify as to what is best. Is it smaller scale projects? Is it larger scale projects? Where do we kind of put our manpower and resources? And then we can kind of look at investments and long-term goals and stuff like that. In regards to technology, right, one of the biggest things, takeaway is having more MacBooks, having more interactive areas for things like 3D CAD, interior design, engineering. We compete with a lot of other high schools in the county that are choice schools, so students get to choose where they go to, and we know that we have a couple of rival schools that really focus on STEM, and they get a lot of good academic students. Right, we should follow suit and invest in that. We'll take a look a little later on as well for grant money for STEM initiatives. And also rolling with new technology, a lot of the students in the high school have refurbished Chromebooks. Is there a way to get new ones, right? So that education and learning online, that's never a problem. And another big kind of large scale operation, and this is a bit of a more down the road thing, is you have the goal of solar panels, right? So students, high school seniors, are allowed to drive to the to school. We have about 350 students, as in the senior class. Can you provide solar panels to help power the school, right? That we have stronger energy output, we have clean energy. We'll talk about that in a second. And then, can that help with technology, right? Does it stabilize? We don't have to focus on one area. Sometimes in the past we've had some Wi-Fi problems, and the Wi-Fi kind of has to choose. But can we have more boosters with more energy? So those are all things that technology and facilities can work together with as we move forward. Here's the current budget proposal. We'll look at that in just a second, right? Budget funding. So right now the facility sits at about $8.5 million for next year. We can get some of that money from an increase in tax revenue, about $2.75 million, and that can be seen from our budget presentation for the school district. All right, so everything is kind of in here, as well as this presentation here for the following school year. You have this increase there of $2.75 million. As we go back to our presentation, right, there's also a surplus of about $3.8 million from last year, which can be found revenue right here. So that's about $3.5 million. So we have there money from last year that can be used over. So if we want to identify short-term versus long-term, what's most important, we can kind of take a look at that money and see how we can break that down. Non-traditional funding. So this is where we kind of get some fun with it. So in regards to the recreational field, right, there is a group called the Roxbury Environment Commission. They make sure that projects are done correctly and responsibly for the environment. They also will provide money. Their website is right here. So this is a little bit of what they do, but they actually are the middleman to obtain grants from larger corporations. They can get anywhere up to $10,000 to $15,000 to help with this project to make sure we're not impeding on any wildlife. So we're kind of doing it the right way. I was talking earlier about technology and new Chromebooks, new initiatives. There is a STEM grant for innovative technology uses. It is right here. It's Views on Learning, right? It focus on mathematics and engineering. So that is another opportunity. And then some more non-traditional funding. Sustainable Jersey Schools for Schools Grants and Technology. Talking about the wanting for solar panels, right? This project combines both NJEA and PSE&G foundations, right? So from local power lines, power companies, stuff like that. And last but not least, my personal favorite, right? Getting in, from the sports world involved. You have this program out there called EDGE, which focuses on disc golf companies. Kind of an unknown, smaller sport. But they will give money, right? They will give cages. They will give layouts for courses. So you don't have to be a football player or a lacrosse player or a soccer player and spend all that money on sports, right? You can play a sport like disc golf, get involved in your community, right? And they will provide some resources for you. So this is just kind of a breakdown of some projects we would like to attack, right? Circling for our educational goals. Here's a reference page if you want to continue to explore. Here is the Sustainable Energy Awarded, and here is the EDGE program as well. So these 5 or 4 activities there can really help moving forward. So thank you for your time and have a great day.